First of all, I just want you to know, when you are not here in Washington, Harold acts as an incredibly powerful, effective, efficient voice for firefighters in this country. And there isn't a moment that he doesn't let us know it. Even those of us who have been with you, as I have been 100% of the time, Harold is a fantastic president to advocate on behalf of firefighters in this country, and I want you to know it as you attend here, but then go back home. He is one fantastic president to have, so I salute him for everything that he does. And I can tell all of you, as I told the firefighters from New Jersey that I met earlier, that I'll be working in the Senate and in my home state of New Jersey, taking on those who not only want to tax your health care, but want to take it away, and maybe even more importantly, who want to take away your right to collectively bargain. You know, I like football just as much as everybody else in this room, but if billionaire NFL owners can respect the collective bargaining rights of millionaire players to play football, then every state can recognize the collective bargaining rights of firefighters to protect our lives. Let me say, let's be clear. This isn't about saving a dime or cutting deficits. States that continue to uphold right-to-work laws have the highest deficits and are inspiring conservatives to take on public employees. The fact is, Wisconsin projects a deficit of about 13%. But North Carolina, that doesn't allow public employees the right to collectively bargain, is running a much higher deficit. Ohio's deficit is about half of North Carolina's. So what we're seeing across the country isn't about balancing budgets, as Republicans would have you believe. It's not certainly about public safety. And it's not about helping firefighters, as we all said we would after those fateful days on September 11th. How quickly we forget. In fact, how quickly they forgot when Republicans even filibustered and delayed a vote on the Sadroga bill to help firefighters whose health was compromised on September 11th. But we got it passed anyhow, despite their efforts to filibuster it. So, my friends, this is the result of a long time coming conservative strategy to break the unions, plain and simple. And we're not going to let it happen. Not in Ohio, not in New Jersey, and for that fact, not anywhere that I can do from a national perspective. This is about an anti-labor, anti-worker political agenda spun and respun as fiscal responsibility. If any of you had any doubts about who is on your side, if any of you ever wondered who's looking out for your health care, protecting your benefits, standing with you for everything that you have worked and fought for, the relentless attacks on public employees and their right to bargain with their employers that we're seeing Governor Walker in Wisconsin and Kasich in Ohio should put any doubts that you had to rest. So the question is, have they gotten your attention yet? And I think everyone in this room should know by now what their agenda is. We've seen governors like Kasich and Walker have a blatant political agenda built on attacking public employees and cutting services. They claim to be in favor of job creation when all of their policies end up putting more people out of work and more families at risk. They don't count public employees as American workers with families, people who pay taxes and have a mortgage just like their next-door neighbor. Even now, after September 11th, when we praised our firefighters as American heroes, they vilify firefighters, first responders, and all public employees. They seek to cut their pensions, cut their health care, tax their benefits, eliminate funds for badly needed new equipment, lay them off, and call it fiscal responsibility. Then they go on the cable shows and talk and proclaim about their patriotism and how strong they are on homeland security. Well, imagine, God forbid, if another 9/11 happened in an Ohio or Wisconsin. What would Kasich and Walker send then when there are fewer firefighters, fewer EMTs, fewer cops on the street, all using out-of-date equipment, all of them trying to do the best they can given the deep cuts in their budgets? What would they say? What would all of those who want to balance the budget on your back say then? Frankly, I'm sick and tired of hearing that firefighters and cops and emergency responders get treated as if your jobs don't count and you don't matter. That's not how America felt on September 11th, when firefighters and first responders from New York and New Jersey, and that fact around the country, rushed into burning towers. That's not how we felt when you stayed on the job looking for survivors day after day, even as your own health was affected. It's not how we felt or what we said when we attended the funerals of those who gave their lives. It is not how we should treat you when you have put your lives on the line for this country. And I feel a lot safer with you on the job than the likes of Governors Kasich and Walker any day of the week. Now, when I was first elected mayor of my hometown many years ago, I inherited a city that was on the verge of bankruptcy. And we had to make hard choices, and yeah, we had to make cuts. We talked to the unions. We negotiated. We came to agreements because we trusted each other. Labor was at the table, and they were part of the solution. And in time, everyone was put back to work, every benefit was preserved, and the city was made whole. So yes, we have to make some hard choices in our country. There's no question about that. But we don't have to destroy all the rights that we've earned, rights we fought for in the process. We've seen in history, and I see it in my own home state of New Jersey, demagogues who turn one group of people against another. And that history has never worked out very well. And I know it won't work now. We don't have to turn people and citizens against public employees and make them the enemy, point the finger and say, they're the problem. They're the ones who have caused the economic crisis. They're the ones wasting your tax dollars. We don't have to drive a wedge between the people we serve and the people who provide the service to score political points. Because in the end, when you're rushing into a fire in a burning house to save someone's loved one, no one is asking what's your pension benefits or how much it costs to save their family. The politics of fear and finger-pointing are not reducing the deficit or saving a dime. We are in this together, and when we work together, we're going to solve our challenges. That's what I've tried to do when I successfully fought direct taxation of health benefits that would have affected you. That's what I tried to do when I successfully fought for increased thresholds for workers working in high-risk professions like yours. It's what I fought to do to make sure that high-cost states like my own in New Jersey would not be unfairly hit with increased health care costs. It's why I fought for the SAFER Act to provide funding directly to fire departments and volunteer organizations to retain and increase the number of trained first responders in our communities. You can have all the equipment in the world, but if you don't have a person on the rig able to operate it, it won't make a difference at the end of the day in responding to the challenge. And that's why I worked so hard last year. That's why I worked so hard last year. Your president and your union was out there pushing the leadership in the Senate, as they rightfully should do, to get them a vote on the Public Safety Employee Cooperation Act. I was a vocal advocate of it. I got on the floor in support of it. I voted for it. It would have granted firefighters and police minimum collective bargaining rights by establishing minimum standards for state collective bargaining laws, but the Republicans said no and filibustered even minimum collective bargaining rights as they fought for tax cuts for billionaires. You know, the fact is, if we're going to ask middle-class families like you in America to sacrifice, then we should be asking billionaires and millionaires to carry their own weight during this economic crisis. Which is why I fought against tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. There's nothing wrong with wealth. We appreciate that, hard work and sacrifice. But those who have the greatest wealth in America should be called upon to help America when it needs it the most. That's why I fought for Wall Street reform to rein in those who gamed the financial system and brought this nation to the brink of another Great Depression. We need a holistic approach to reducing the deficit, not balancing it on the backs of hardworking middle-class families. Bottom line for me is we have to take care of the people who take care of us, and you're those people. So let me close in a way in which I think every time I think about this, it crystallizes it for me. No one said it better than one of your fallen brothers. Jim Martinez, the 7th District Vice President and President Emeritus of Boise Local 149, was 80 years old when he passed away recently. He was a union man, a dedicated pioneer of the Idaho Fire Service, but probably known by all of you for writing the poem inscribed on the International Association Fallen Firefighter Memorial. It concludes with these lines. My father gave his life that night when the floor gave way below, and I wondered why he'd risk his life for someone he didn't know. But now I realize the greatest gift a man can give is to lay his life upon the line so that someone else might live. So as we go from day to day and we pray to God above, say a prayer for your local fireman. He may save the ones you love. We need to recite that poem to Governor Kasich and Governor Walker. We need to tell them that those who have forgotten what public service really means when a family's life is on the line and the sacrifice is made by so many. My friends, this battle over collective bargaining and the vilification of public employees is not about reducing the deficit or saving a penny. It is the cynical outgrowth of a wrong-headed political agenda designed not to govern or serve or provide service or protect families or balance the budget, but to break the back of labor and win elections and drive an ideological agenda. So, Harold, if I'm fortunate enough to be invited back next year, I hope your introduction next year will be that I was standing with you on the line to protect your health care benefits and your right to collectively bargain, that I was there to make sure firefighters get the respect they deserve and continue to provide them the help they need to make our families safe, that I was there and helped you put this fire out. My friends, keep up the fight. I am with you to the very end, and together I do believe that we shall overcome in these difficult days. Thank you so much.